Hello everyone, this is James from 3D Printing Reviews, and today I'm going to bring you a quick little short video on how I made my maker coin, which I recently posted a picture of on Instagram, and I actually followed a video tutorial by Chuck Hellebuck. I think I've said that correctly. I'll link his video in the description. Obviously this has already been done by Angus at Make and Muse, and Joel at the 3D Printing Nerd, but they used Onshape and Fusion 360, I believe. But Chuck used Tinkercad, and I'm a big fan of Tinkercad because the other two programs, while they're excellent pieces of software, have a lot of features that you can pick, and whether you're picking the right one is very hard to tell. Whereas Tinkercad is basic in its operation, but its features are really well planned out. So let's just have a look at my Tinkercad open page here. This is my maker coin here. You can see I've got a couple of other bits that you might recognise. So let's just go in and tinker the coin. And you might have just seen there briefly as it loaded up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this design here, and that's just going to open a copy up so that we can have a proper play with it. So if we ungroup that, then we're just gonna, yeah, you can just see all those. Okay, so that is basically what goes up making our coin. So what I'm going to do is basically work backwards. So let's take the first thing, or the last thing that we added, and that was the dish shape into the top of the coin. And I'll show you a picture of the finished coin after I've gone through all of this, 'cause I've already printed it. So if we just raise that up, you can see what that looks like. The next thing we've got here is these tubes, or the cylinders, and these are actually in pairs, so here, etc. So if we try and select all of those, okay, what I'm actually going to do is group them together. Oh, if I group them together, it's going to, there we go, that's fine. So I've grouped those together. Let's move those out of the way, and then we've obviously got the actual logo for 3D Printing Reviews. So let's move that across as well, which just leaves us this original disc that we started with. So let's basically put those things back together, and you'll see what the finished coin looks like after we've added them in. So let's undo. So we've added the logo back in, and actually I'll just show you a quick feature that I sort of knew about excuse me, but never really used until I watched Chuck's video. So if we select both of those and go up here and go to align, and then align again, it brings up these dots, and basically what that will allow us to do is align these two shapes on these axes. So if we click that one, it puts it in the middle, or in the middle of this row, and then again in the middle of this row, and then that is perfectly in the middle for what we want. It's a really powerful feature, but done in a simple way, which is what I really like. So it's not really gonna, so if I just undo a few and we'll get this back to where we want. So let's add in these. So these were basically what we did here. Like I say, they're paired originally. So if I just go around and put these as all as holes, because it undoes that when you group and ungroup. Okay, so if we look at just two of these, and what these are just cylinders that we've placed around the edge. We place one at a time, and you duplicate the cylinder and you just move it across to the other side, and those two are then grouped together. They're a pair. And then what you do is you duplicate those, shift them around 30 degrees, and that gives you an equal spacing all the way around your cylinder or your disc shape. So we do that with all of those cylinders, And then the next, or the last step for me, I think Chuck did one extra thing on his, and he added a bevel, but I didn't like the shape that it gave you on the edge there, so I didn't do that. But the last step for us was just to pull this down and then decide basically where we want it. So I've done it there, so it's covers the whole of the logo. It gives us just a small border around the edge. So what we do, if we select all of those, group them together, and there's our finished coin. As you can see, it's got a nice concave, is it concave? Concave shape. So yeah, that looks really nice. So what we'll do now is I'll switch over to, I'll just run a quick time lapse of the maker coin being created, and you'll see I had a little bit of a, not an error, actually, because it worked out, a happy accident, I think, is what Bob Ross used to call it. So basically what we've got here is I printed them in gold Extrude.ltd PLA, but what I've been doing is using up sample filaments that I've got around my collection just to make space for the spools. Unfortunately, I didn't quite have enough gold filament, and I could see it was going to run out on the last 1 or 2 coins. So what I did is I switched in some silver Extrude.ltd PLA, and actually came out really nice, came out as a nice feature. So let's run that time lapse, and then we'll cut back and we'll have a look at some close-up images of the actual coins. Okay, hello everyone, and here we have the finished 3D printing reviews maker coins in gold, and in a second you'll see silver Extrude.ltd PLA. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the finished coin. And as you can see, it's not like a coin size as such, it's more of a small token, I suppose, that you'd get. And this one, you can see, is in complete gold. Just let the camera, there we go. It's got a nice little, it's got a bit of a shimmer to it, which I quite like about this PLA. But as I said in the tutorial part of this video, I could see that as this was finishing, that I was going to run out of the gold PLA. So I swapped in some of the silver Extrude.ltd PLA I had. And while this one didn't get a complete top layer of silver, it still came out quite nicely. It's got a nice shimmer around the side. But the last one, which got a complete top layer of silver, just looks excellent. Very much like the British £2 coin. A 2-colour, 2-metal coin. I think that came out really well. I'm really happy with that. Beautiful bottom layer. Yeah, so that came out really nice. So yeah, that's about all for this video. Next week's video will probably be returning to the Endfire 1. I'm currently doing a bit of the electrical soldering at the moment. If I just pan out a bit, we can see here we've got the solder and iron out, some solder, etc. So I've just been playing around with the connectors that we're going to be using to attach some of the heated bed wires to the SSR and the power supply. I've desoldered the polyfuses from the ramps board, etc. So yeah, so that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please check out Chuck Hellebuck's video on his tutorial for his maker coin, which he did in Tinkercad. This is just my interpretation of that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.